How we doing, guys? Welcome back to the channel. And today we're going to be discussing some, I would say, banging cheapies, really. Yeah, some really good, affordable fragrances. And you'll get to meet my good friend Haz from the channel Higher Sense. So if you're interested on what both of us are going to recommend to you, then stick around. Yeah, so I had a little chat with my mate Haz. He's got a channel that's just getting up off the ground, and I'll link the channel in the actual title, so you guys can hop on over and check his channel out. And if you like what you see, please throw him a sub, because we're trying to get him off the ground there. And he's got some real good quality reviews already, and he's making good headway. So I'd love it if some of my subscribers could jump on over and give him some support. So if you could do that, that'd be much appreciated. So I give Haz a brief of under 50 quid, and let's see what he's recommended for us. Over to you, Haz.
Hello, this is Haz from Higher Sense, and today I'm going to run through a few selections of fragrances for under £50. This has been at the request of my good friend, the Frag Lad, otherwise known as Big Al, and I'm going to run through my selections with you now. So, selection number one is Bentley for Men Intense. This is a 100ml bottle and comes in at £30, which is well under budget. This is described as an oriental spicy fragrance, and I'll run through the most prominent notes with you now. In the top we have black pepper and bay leaf. The black pepper is quite warm and spicy and gives a punchy opening. The bay leaf is quite aromatic. It's a touch camphorous and green, and it complements the warm spices well. In the mid we have rum, which adds a nice boozy element to this. You've got some woods, which gives a touch of backbone to the mid, and then you've also got clary sage, which is quite unusual in a fragrance, but I do enjoy it here because it gives a kind of, it's reminiscent of kind of a lavender with some musks. There's also like a kind of ambery touch in there. It's a bit different, but it adds to the mid and gives it a nice little different element. In the base we'll move on to leather, benzoin, and there's also cedarwood in here. The cedarwood is nice, it gives some good longevity to this fragrance. The leather again just adds to the masculinity and the warmth of the fragrance. The benzoin gives kind of a nice ambery resinous feel to this fragrance. It rounds it off well, and they're the notes that I get from this fragrance. The longevity is good, the projection again is good. It's quite a strong fragrance, it's definitely masculine, and it leans mature. It's rich, it's boozy, it's warm spicy with a nice bit of wood and an amber undertone. All in all, it's got quite a lot of notes in here. They come together well. It's smooth. It's got a touch of smoke in there, and the boozy feel almost makes it like it's kind of a rum from an aged cask, so to speak. Bentley for Men Intense is my first selection, and for £30 I think it's a very strong opener, and it's a fragrance that I most enjoy. My second selection for fragrances under £50 is Lowe Immortal, and this is made by Maison Alhambra. This is a 100ml eau de parfum concentration, and it comes in around £33. I would describe this as a citric fragrance, and I'll go on to describe the most prominent notes for you. In the top we have ginger and grapefruit, which gives a lovely, bright, fresh citric blast. It opens the fragrance really well, and it's perfect for those summer days. In the mid, the notes that I get are sage and rosemary. The rosemary is quite green, it's quite zingy, and it's aromatic. It gives an almost minty touch, which again adds to the freshness of this fragrance. We've also got the sage, which is in the mid. Again, it's very aromatic, but it's quite warm, it's quite peppery, and it gives it just that bit of edge. And then in the base, bringing this fragrance together, is the labdanum. That gives quite a leathery, warm, ambery feel. Again, I think this does help with the longevity of the fragrance, and it certainly lasts on my skin. The longevity on this fragrance is good, and the projection is decent. Again, for a summer freshie, I think it's got all the elements that you're looking for. It's bright. The atomizer is okay, so I'd probably go 5 or 6 sprays on this one, just to make sure you're getting enough juice on your skin. This fragrance is representative of bright, gingery citruses with a nice warm ambery undertone. It's very much a summer scent with bite, and it's also, I'm led to believe, a clone of Louis Vuitton L'Immensité. I do have L'Immensité, and I would say this is pretty close, and certainly for the price differential, this being around 10% of the Louis Vuitton fragrance, I've got absolutely no doubt that this would be the preferred choice. And this is my second selection. My third selection for fragrances under £50 is Mont Blanc Starwalker. This 75ml EDT comes in at £30, so it's well under budget. It's classed as a woody citric, or at least I class it as a woody citric kind of fragrance, and I'll go on to describe what's in here. So in the top you've got bergamot, which gives a nice citric opening, nice and bright, and you've also got bamboo. Now bamboo is quite an unusual ingredient, you don't find it in much these days, but the thing which I like about bamboo is it's touch watery, but it mainly gives a kind of a woody feel. It's like a woody aromatic type of note, and with the bergamot gives a lovely bright clean woody opening, which is unusual and makes this slightly unique. In the mid you've got cedar and you've got musk. The musk kind of binds the notes together and gives like a nice warm clean, almost soapy fresh kind of feel to this fragrance. Also the cedar wood in here, it's a nice soft wood, it complements the top notes well, and it brings the mid in, and it keeps the fragrance light and it keeps it bright. In the base, another unusual ingredient that I've got is fir resin. Again, it's not used in fragrances that I tend to deal with these days. It gives a kind of aromatic, balsamic, green, spicy undertone. It's nice that it's in the base. It carries the fragrance, but it adds a bit of zest, a bit of greenness, which you can feel throughout the mid of this fragrance. And what I like about it is it's balsamic, it's warm, it's spicy, but it's also aromatic and gives a fresh green feel. I think it's the perfect note to round off what is quite a unique little fragrance here. The projection on this, it's okay. The longevity again is okay. It is an EDT. I wish it had a little bit more punch about it. But if you're looking for a fragrance which is a dumb reach and something which is, it's fresh, it's clean, it's woody, it's bright, it's kind of almost a fresh out of the shower kind of feel, soapy shower gel kind of touch, then I certainly think that this is a nice little addition to my selections. This is a simple fragrance. It makes you feel quite light, relaxed and mellow. It's fresh, it's bright, it's simple and it's clean, and it makes my selection at number 3. My final selection here today is John Varvatos Vintage. Now, with the selection so far, I've tried to choose from a range of fragrances, not all similar. I want one for each kind of occasion, and I think John Varvatos Vintage certainly ties these off well. It's a 75ml eau de toilette, and it comes in at 28 quid. Atomizer's decent, gives a lovely cloud of fragrance. It's mature, it's masculine, it's a woody chypre fragrance, and I'm going to go on to describe what it smells like. In the top you've got rhubarb. Rhubarb isn't really utilised in many fragrances these days. I do enjoy rhubarb, and it makes this slightly different from other modern day fragrances. You've also got quince in here, which is kind of a fruity smell, slightly sour, and then it's rounded off by fennel. Fennel being kind of, it's fresh, it's aromatic, and it's quite aniseedy. In the top, them 3 notes, they're quite different, but they come together quite well to give a kind of a very masculine but mature opening. It's very vintage, old school and gentlemanly. In the mid, you move on to juniper, which is kind of fresh and green and quite balsamic. And you've also got lavender in there, which gives a clean, soapy, fresh smell. It lifts the mid, it complements the top notes, and it makes sure that this fragrance isn't too heavy, and it adds a touch of lightness and a little bit of brightness. In the base, you've got a touch of tobacco here. It's quite light, it's not smoky, but again gives a nice little gentlemanly element. You've also got suede here, which is a very soft leather. Again, it's soft, it's subtle, but it's masculine. And you've also got oak moss in here. Now, oak moss is something which is a bit restricted these days because of skin conditions and things like that, but oak moss represents a very earthy note. It's almost like a forest floor in autumn kind of smell. Again, the earthiness, the darkness pulls the fragrance together, gives it a little bit of longevity, but rounds it off nicely. You've got some fruits in the top, you've got some greens in the mid, and you've got some darker notes in the base. When you put them all together, it gives quite a nice masculine, mature experience. The projection on this is decent, the longevity is decent. It is an eau de toilette, and I wish it had a little bit more to it, but for £28 for 75 mils, you can't complain too much. It lasts 3 or 4 hours, and it projects maybe a foot and a half. But you can go quite heavy on the spray with this. It's a decent atomizer. Give yourself 7 or 8 sprays if you like, and if you run through the bottle, it's only a couple of quid to replace it. I would say that this fragrance, it's a classic masculine kind of 80s scent, almost reminiscent of what a Jeep Wrangler in the mountains in spring would smell like. That's the impression I get from this. Leathery seats, driven by a rugged gentleman in the spring in the Rocky Mountains. That's what I get from this. This is smoky, woody leathers, and I would say that vintage is a perfect description for this kind of fragrance. It smells vintage, it's gentlemanly, it's mature, and it rounds off my 4th selection for fragrances under £50. Back to the Frag Lad.
Excellent choices there, mate. Thanks very much. You stole a couple that I already had in mind, but not to worry. I've still got quite a lot of cheapies to choose from, and looking down at what I've already selected, I think they're all clones. No, they're not. No, there's one that isn't, although some people say that it is. In fact, there's 2 that isn't, that I think aren't anyway, although some people think they are. I could have went with things that aren't, you know. That's just some honourable mentions here. Rochas Man Intense. Any of the Coach fragrances, Platinum, Coach for Men, Coach Green, Coach Blue, all great cheapies. There's many that I've got up there, but these are the, what have I got here? 8 that I've chosen. No, is it 8? 9, Jesus. But 2 are sort of honourable mentions that I'll get out of the way right away. And we all know this guy, don't we? Yeah, we all know this guy. Clubbed and Away Intense Man. Value for money or what? Those of you that don't know, this is Eventness inspired by. I'll pull up the notes here. But what you've mostly got is like the lemon, bergamot, pineapple opening, and then it's got like jasmine, I think, and it says it says cedar in the base, but there's smokiness from this, and that's normally associated with the birch that's in Aventus, but it says cedar, and I think there's leather and musk in there too, maybe some ambroxan. But yeah, absolutely fantastic. Beast mode performer. This is the Pure Parfum. I had the limited edition before this and rinsed it, and I thought I'll try the Pure Parfum. There isn't a lot of difference. I think the limited edition is just a bit smoothed out, but this is great, absolutely great. Bang for your buck or what? The other honourable mention, Lattafa Asad. You see how I took the little casing thing off mine? I think it makes it look more sleek. It was loose, so I just pulled it off, but I think that looks better than that gaudy wraparound cage thing. Oh. Now, those of you that don't know, this is a Sauvage Elixir clone, and it isn't one-to-one, but I appreciate the differences. Not to say that it's better than Sauvage Elixir, but like, there's an absence of licorice that you get in the Sauvage, and I think, yeah, the vanilla's more prominent. Yeah. Black pepper, tobacco, dry woods. I'll put up the notes. You've got like benzoin or something in the base. It's like a spicy, woody. It's coffee in here too. It's a spicy, woody fragrance, you know? Almost smells leathery as well. Yeah, beautiful, beautiful. Winter, fall, you know, cold weather appropriate, strong. It's just a very masculine, spicy fragrance. Absolutely beautiful. Here's one that you're probably not aware of. Ah, yeah, love this. I got it just to qualify for the deal. You have to spend 80 quid with a particular eBay seller, and I think I'd put the thing in my basket that I initially wanted, which was like 60 quid, and then found this listed for like 22 or something. Looked it up on Fragheads, and I was like, yeah, I'll pull the trigger, I'll take a chance, I'll roll the dice. It turned out to be one of the best pickups of the year, for the price anyway. Yeah, absolutely beautiful. So in the top you've got like a cacophony of citruses. There's like mandarin orange and spices, and then there's the saffron, which is a big player in here, and it dries down to some woods and some leather. I'll pull up the notes here. People say that it's a twist on Cedrat Boisé. Bit of a stretch maybe. I see the similarities, but the differences make it its own thing. I think people just fall into the trap of trying to liken like things from Lattafa and other clone companies always as a clone, but I have a feeling this is its own thing, and it's very, very good. I would say that, you know, you could wear this pretty much any time of the year. It's got enough strength to be worn in the cold weather, and it's not too dense to be worn in the warm weather either. I think you can get this on a Tino for around about the same price I paid for it, between 20 and 25 quid. It's really, really good. Now then, there's a bit of a community darling, isn't there? Eh? Rochas moustache. Beautiful. Beautiful. I love patchouli. I love patchouli. You can smell it in this. So, here's the notes, and I'll tell you what I think. So, there's mandarin and pink pepper in the top, and I think there's cedar listed, and you've got like amber and vanilla and patchouli. But this for me is vanilla, pepper, and patchouli. Yeah, it's woody. No, there is a rose in here, and I never knew it until, because I've had this for a long time, and I've had, you know, tuxedo inspired buys, which this is, here and there, and it wasn't until I experienced rose in a different form that I then noticed it in here. And I think because it's so blended so well, it's difficult to pick out, but this is a formal fragrance. This tuxedo, you know what I mean? Like, it says it all. I can't stop sniffing it. I love it. I don't know what you can pick this up for at the minute, but it's definitely under the £50 brief. well under. Sometimes pick it up for around 20 quid. But it's so good. Yeah, formal occasions, or you could wear it casually, but I think it just speaks to formal occasions. It just smells classy. And, you know, if you were to pick a season, I would say autumn. It just smells like autumn to me. It's absolutely wonderful. I love that stuff. I might one day get tuxedo, you know, the actual YSL tuxedo. It's expensive, and I might wait and see if I can get it, you know, at a good deal, like a partial on the groups or something like that. But until then, that'll do me just fine. Now then, here's another one I don't think many of you will have heard of. What an awful looking bottle it is. This is by the House of Khadlaj, and it's called Shiyaaka. Some say Shiyaaka Red because there is a blue. Look at that. I don't know if you can see that. I see all that like fake metal has just started to come away. See on my finger. Sorry, my dog's just farted. It stinks. I'll tell you what. This smells incredible. And what it is an exceptional clone of Reflection Man by Amouage. Honestly, as awful as the quality and the look of the presentation is, the scent is magnificent. Honestly, guys, I don't know how they've done it. It is exceptional. Now, you've got to like white florals to like this, just like with Reflection Man, as I'm sure you know. But in the top, you've got rosemary and pepper, along with petitgrain, which is a white floral. And then in the mid, you've got neroli, jasmine, and orris fruit, it's iris. And then cedar and vetiver and patchouli in the base. But they're just the notes, yeah? What I get from it is a soft, but yet not weak, like white floral, powdery, soapy, clean sort of vibe. And the performance is absolutely awesome. So good. It's just clean and fresh smelling. And not like Reflection isn't like most of the releases from Amouage. It's very safe and very different from pretty much everything else. It doesn't have much of the Middle Eastern sort of like smoky, resinous, incensey sort of vibe with it. Some say like a niche Lamal or like Dali by Parfums de Mali, but absolute banger. I think you get that for about 30 quid, honestly, you know. It's exceptional. I'll tell you what though, when you first get it out the box and spray it, it'll be a bit weak. Mine was. And it took, you know, a little bit of maceration to bring it to its glory that it's in now, but as much as the bottle's fallen apart and everything, I still think it's well worth the money. Now then, here's another one that I don't know if many of you will be aware of. By Fomo, a fragheads asylum. And this, it smells good, that like. Oh, it's good. It's good, it's good. This smells so good. I forgot how good that does smell. Let's get some bear skin. Here we are. Get some of that on there. A little bit of alcohol in the opening, as you would expect. But I'll tell you what, it dries down to something incredible. It is a clone of Elysium by Rochas. By Rochas? No, that's Rochas. It is a clone of Elysium by Roger Dove. And as you know, or you might not, but Elysium is very expensive. Anything from Roger is expensive. That's not. That's about 30 quid. Excellent. So, notes. grapefruit, lemon, pink pepper, jasmine, iris, vetiver, arglewood, and amber. But what you get is like a, I mean, those notes don't exactly match the Rochas. Rochas has like 40 notes or something. But what you get from this is like a sort of similar citrus sort of opening to something like, you know, a Varvatos or it's inspired by. It smells slightly metallic and musky, but it smells really, really good. More so after it's properly opened up. It smells a little bit sour there, actually. Not like it does in the cap, but yeah, after it's opened up properly, it smells excellent, like really, really good. And like, that's a dent there. Like in my collection, like that's where it is there, where my finger is, that's a dent. It's not a beast mode performer, I must say. You know, 4 or 5 hours or something like that, but appropriate for spring and summer, definitely. And, you know, for 30 some quid, you know, copying a scent profile of like a 250, 300 pound fragrance. It's a no-brainer, really, isn't it? But yeah, the Fragheads Asylum by Fomo. Now here's another that I don't know how many of you will know what it is or what it's replicating. Magnetic cap. Hazel will appreciate. A good magnetic cap as well. Oh, one of the most pleasing scent profiles. And it does it brilliantly. This Dusk by the Woods Collection is a clone of Leighton by Parfums de Marly. You can forget D2 in a while, honestly. This blows it out the water. So, notes. You've got apple, lavender, mandarin orange, violet, geranium, jasmine. And in the base, you've got vanilla, cardamom, pepper, woody notes, sandalwood, and patchouli. Now, people say that there's like a minty Vicks Vapor Rub sort of opening with Leighton. It's not mint. What you're smelling there is geranium. And geranium can smell minty, especially when used in a blend in a certain way and combined with other notes. But you get the apple and the lavender. What I get is apple, lavender, vanilla, cardamom, and woods. Just so beautiful. Definitely the cardamom and the vanilla. Now this could probably be this could probably be worn all year round, apart from really high heat. It's got enough depth. Oh, I wish I had some more skin. It's got enough depth to be worn in cold weather. And in terms of actually nailing down the scent profile of Leighton, I think this is probably, out of the things that I've tried, because there might be stuff out there that I haven't tried, out of the things that I've tried, this gets the closest. Now, I paid about 65 quid for this off eBay, but you can get it for less than that now. It's definitely under 50. I've seen it for under 50, and it's worth it. You get a little travel atomizer inside the box as well. Beautifully beautifully presented, and the magnetic cap, well, extra points for that, as Haz will agree. Just love it. So if you want Leighton on a budget, this is where you go. The cardamom is just beautiful. The vanilla, spicy, sweet, woody, a fruity apple in the opening. It just smells incredible, honestly. For the money, you just can't go wrong with that at all. Dusk by the Woods Collection. Recent review. I can't. I'm wrecking the spot. I can't say enough good things about these. Oh god! Every time I've worn this, I've been told I smell nice by the same person, the missus, but other people too. Oh, meant to be a clone of Varvatos Absolute. You get these like big time creators on TikTok like blasting it as a Varvatos Absolute clone. Either they're being told to say that, or they're not worthy of the following that they've got because the nose is shit. but it's like, it's such a big twist on that it's completely its own thing. Nuts. So in the Supremacy Collector's Edition from Afnan, you've got pineapple, bergamot, apple and white florals in the top. In the mid, you've got birch, orange blossom and amber. And in the base, you've got ambergris, oak moss and musk. Now then, the white florals and the orange blossom, which is obviously white floral, take this so far away from what I remember the Creed smelling like, that it just makes it its own thing, and it's fruitier as well. I said when I first smelled it, and then I went and I'd done a little experiment. When I first smelled this, I thought, yeah, definitely got the absolute Varvatos DNA. But the orange blossom was like a bit YSL myselfy, and the fruitiness reminded me a bit of Ultramal. So I done a layering combo, and while it wasn't the same, you could tell like that it sort of wore the same. Like, you know, the fruits were a bit like Ultramal. Definitely reminded you of that. And the orange blossom definitely reminded you of myself. Not me, myself. But this is absolutely beautiful. What a banging release from Afnan, honestly. Like, I'm thinking about getting a backup bottle, because collector's edition, I don't know how limited it's going to be. And for me to buy a backup bottle of something, it speaks volumes, because I don't have a backup bottle of anything. I love this. One of my best, favourite, most excellent releases of the year. Love it. Absolutely love it. Supremacy Collector's Edition. Honest. I just want to... And to round it off, this has been out a long time. Armaf Club. A lot of people didn't know what it was. This is an eye roller, honestly. The florally, patchouli, ambery sweet. It's meant to be a clone of Ambre Sultan by Serge Lutens. Honestly, guys. God. So, what you've got is spicy notes, caraway, sage and bergamot in the top. Then you've got pepper, cedar and iris in the mid, amber, vanilla, leather and patchouli in the base. It's just so good, man, honestly. Like, and it wears lovely. It's soft. Like, the scent profile isn't soft. You've got enough like really like strong things in there. I mean, like, you know, caraway, spicy notes, pepper, you know, leather, patchouli. You know, it isn't a soft scent profile, but it wears soft, but it's not weak. It's like it's built to be comfy. It just feels like comfortable. Do you know what I mean? Oh, so good. And I think this can be had for about £35 last time I checked anyway. So good, guys. Like, and it doesn't get talked about at all. Kind of why I wanted to include that in here, and this, you know, and this, and this, and this too, you know. It's Why I grabbed them? Because only absolute idiot freak frag geeks like myself will have known about their existence. So I wanted to put you guys onto something a bit different in this list. And along with the recommendations from Has, I think we've compiled, you know, a pretty good selection here of cheapies, because the world's getting silly expensive, and if you can save money where you can, you know, if you're not fortunate enough to be able to just get what you want when you want it, and you know, maybe need to make some cutbacks and reevaluate your priorities and, you know, that kind of thing, then you'll want to be getting some budget fragrances in. And I think that we've compiled quite a good list of recommendations here for you. I had more, you know, I could have brought 30 fragrances down here, but these are just things that I had to hand, and I thought, yeah, some old favourites and quite a few things that you won't have been aware of or might not have. So yeah, thanks very much for tuning in again, guys. This will have been a really long one, even after I've edited it down. So if you've stuck with me till the end, thanks very much. And you know, as you can see, a bit festive today. Thought we'd film down here for a change and give you something a bit different. And if you're liking the content, as always, like I say, if you're liking the content, please hit the like button. Helps YouTube recognize that you like my shit. And you know, get down in the comments. Have you experienced these? What are your favourite cheapies? And what would you consider a cheapie? You know, I said under 50 quid. Like, you know, I'd say that's a broad thing, innit? Most designers are coming out with £100 now. It's half the price. So I'd say under 50 quid. And if you continue to like the content, you haven't already subscribed, please subscribe. And if you have subscribed, hit the bell notification so that you can be notified next time I upload some scented nonsense. But until next time, guys, stay safe, stay fresh, and take care.